Hi, this is Farrell. Welcome to my YouTube channel and pages 4 and 5 of Robot Tod. There's the original scratchy thumbnails that I made, or rough sketch, I guess. That's more of a thumbnail. That was the original thumbnail I did, which didn't end up being what the page was. I had to kind of rethink this one. So this page here was how I was going to do it. I actually got the idea for the page. Then this is the revised thumbnail here, because I wanted to break it up into two pages. So when I was working on pages 2 and 3, I got the idea. I think actually when I was working on the cover, I got the idea for this page. I was like, oh, I want to have a page with the wizard where he's like looking at them. And I originally thought it was going to be like a panel or something. And then I did the sketches and I was like, oh, this would be a funny thing with having this like little pig robot guy come in and say he's going to kill the wizard guy. It's kind of cracks myself up just thinking about it. But yeah, so I realized though when I was drawing it that it was just too cluttered or something, or I had more like dialogue that I wanted to put in, and it was just kind of messy. So I ended up doing a second page. So I'm doing it. I just did it as a spread, having these two pages together as a spread, and you can see like the various iterations of pencils. But I didn't want to have to repencil the first page, and I wanted to insert some dialogue in between. So I just did it as like two separate pages. And then you can see there the transition. I actually chopped it up. I cut it up, and then I taped it together how I wanted the panels. So after I penciled it, I just went with a chopping board, and I just kind of tried to carefully keep it within the little panel gutters margins. And then I taped it all to a piece of plexiglass, and as a spread, so I could see the whole thing. And it took me a long time to do this page, several weeks. Unfortunately, I was doing the other stuff. I'm doing these Monstober drawings, and I'm full of excuses. But it was mostly because I was really struggling with some of the dialogue. The first part of it came really easy, but by the time I got to that, you can even see that I don't have it filled in there. I was like one of the last things I did, the last panels, the last couple of panels. So here's a cat interruption. That happens daily now. Now that my cats are indoor cats, they seem to really need attention when I'm working, which is okay because I love those guys. But yeah, here I'm going in with a Faber-Castell Pitt pen and just adding a little detail. I think I did the figures and stuff. I don't know if I guess I didn't do the video part of it. I think I did the figures with a brush mostly, but I got kind of tired of doing that. And I'm doing these Monstober ones with a brush, so just the little detail and stuff, I just started using this Faber-Castell Pitt pen. Another feline interruption there. And I letter with the Pitt pen as well. And the lettering on these pages is a little kind of crunched together. So I think I'm going to go in Photoshop and try to like clean it up and like separate them a little bit more. I mean, I feel like they're fairly legible, but I don't know. I haven't done that part yet. I just kind of reassembled them in after I scanned them, reassembled them in Photoshop, but I haven't gone in and cleaned up all the little details, little crusty bits. But yeah, so here you can see that I've inked the page now. It's fairly inked. The lettering on the the second to last panel is still not done, but I went ahead and started coloring it just because I was so stuck. I was like, well, I'll just figure that out as I'm doing it. I'm sure there'll come a day when I'm working on it. I'm like, I got it finally. But it went through several iterations as I was coloring it. I kept changing it and changing it. It was pretty frustrating actually, but then once I got the little bit, not like it's like this genius piece of writing or anything, but I just felt satisfied with it. The transition there that's going to go on the next spread. I got the idea that he was talking to someone kind of like on the phone, because in this like post-apocalyptic magic world. They can still talk on phone. I guess kind of like in those Marvel movies, how they're able to like talk on cell phones in space and stuff. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I can kind of explain it away by saying that it's magic. And this world works differently. So yeah, you can see that the lettering is still not locked in there on that second to last panel. I'm still kind of struggling with it. So here it's just layers of watercolor. I'm using gouache, a lot of gouache on this page. The longer palette there on the left is a gouache palette, and you can see here I finally got the dialogue locked in. So here I'm going with the Faber Castell Pitt pen and filling it in finally. Something I'm fairly satisfied. My big head wasn't in the way. You could see it a little better, but and then going and erasing all the pencil stuff and cleaning it up, and I feel like it's fairly done at this point here. I feel like the last panel, like there's like little details in each panel, and the last panel is fairly unfinished. But I kept looking at it and being like, oh, I guess I'm done with this panel, and then like looking at it later, I'm like, oh no, I didn't color in sept, or I didn't color this character, that little thing there. So there's a lot of going back. I think I spent maybe like I did this yesterday at this particular session here that's in the video you're watching. I did it yesterday, and I think I spent several hours on it. I don't know. I've been sick too. That's why my voice is all stopped up. I don't know if you can tell. I got a cold. I'm just recovering from, but it wasn't too bad. But yeah, here I'm just adding in little details here. I've pretty much done all like the bigger washes, but except for the final panel, which you'll see in a minute. So this brush I'm using is a Raphaël 8404, as I mentioned before. This is either size 2 or 3. For years I used a 4, size 4 for inking and stuff, but it just feels a little nicer to be able to do like little details with like I know it seems kind of obvious, but these Raphaels keep such a nice tip for so long that I just was like, oh yeah, I'll use this bigger brush for inking. But I don't know, just recently I just was like, I just want to use a smaller brush. It's more fun for me. So yeah, here we're zeroing in on the last panel. I pretty much got all the rest of the pages done, and I'm just kind of looking at the previous pages here and like the sort of the blue world. It's been so long since it's been several weeks since I've worked on these pages of them, our heroes running around in these caves, that I kind of wanted to look at it, see how blue it actually was. But here I'm just kind of going in and I have this like I mentioned it in previous videos, but I have like a watercolor, like an intense watercolor blue. I forget the name of it. It's like a cerulean blue or something. But I squirt a little bit of that into a jar and add a little bit of water, and then I dilute it a lot as I'm going. But a couple of parts in here I just added straight blue from the jar that I mixed with water. So yeah, here obviously taking off all the tape that I used, excessive amount of tape that I used on these. I just didn't want them getting all, they're going to get warped and bubbly anyway, but I just kind of kept it to, a little less. But that's pretty much the finish there. I just had to scan it in, and you can see the where I made all the cuts, and that doesn't quite match up with the page, but there you can see in Photoshop I've squished them together. That's what it looked like when I first scanned it, and there it is all patched together, the finished page. And here we have the whole spread, and I'm fairly happy with the way it came out. I did kind of like it better black and white, but that's the usual case. Thanks for watching the video. I have a Patreon, Feral Check it out. I'll see you soon. Bye.